Our show is all about the tri-state, about the people and places that make us proud to call New York home. This week we're going to dedicate the episode to the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy, because there are still so many people that need help. Today we are going to focus on how you can help, because help is still so desperately needed. Now we're going to try to get to every area hit by Hurricane Sandy in future episodes, but today we're going to start on Staten Island, where an entire neighborhood was literally blown away. If you've ever been to Oakwood Beach on the east shore of Staten Island, you will be shocked by what you see. Today, the thoroughfare of this once quiet middle-class community looks like a refugee zone. And if you turn to face the water, what used to be a marsh is where you will find the remains of the 13 homes that were literally blown away. Sandy tore these beachfront properties from their foundations, tore them to shreds with their powerful surge and winds whipping at 90 miles per hour. Strewn among the wreckage here is the home that belonged to Pedro and Jen Correa.
I got my wife and kids out the day before.
But in an attempt to minimize the impending damage, he went back to set up the generator and the pumps, having no idea what he would soon be facing. This father of two is not unfamiliar with life-threatening situations.
I lived through 9/11 when the second tower went down. I lived through the Baghdad invasion with the Army, and I never thought I was going to die, but this one, going into that water, I thought I was going to die for sure. So I flipped up the dining room table, me and my brother flipped over the dining room table, and we ripped the legs off, and we figured, you know, this is a nice table. It's a solid piece of wood, you know. It may hold us up. So we pushed it out into the water and we jumped on top of it. We got on it, it was holding for about a minute. Then the leaf in the middle of the table broke away. The water came up right through the middle, started sinking. And then miraculously, this roof came floating by. And we jumped up on this roof. I broke my rib actually trying to jump up on it because it was moving so fast and everything was happening so fast. I slammed my rib on it. We got up on this roof and we thought, we're saved. You know, things are good here. But the wind was vicious. It was just whipping everything at us and there was things flying, debris everywhere. And we took a refrigerator that I can't imagine being that far. Right there. That's the refrigerator right there. We took the refrigerator, we laid it on the roof and we laid behind it so that the wind was hitting the refrigerator, not us. Because my big concern was something was going to fly by, hit me in the head, I fall into the water and I drowned. The water was probably 20 feet at this point. So we got to right about here. About an hour later, and we're stuck here now. All this debris is in front of us, nothing's moving, but all this debris behind us is now starting to crush on top of us. I said, we can't stay here either. You know, we got to get out of here. But there's 20 feet of water and there's all this debris on top floating. I knew if I went under that water, it would be like a blockage. I wouldn't be able to get back up. So I wanted to stay on top of it as much as possible. And there's some 2x6s all around here. They were brand new. My next door neighbor just bought to do a project on his house. They floated up behind us. So I told my brother Bobby, grab that 2x6. And we pushed the piece of wood out. And I said, grab another one. And he held that one. And we pushed out past that piece of wood. And then he would grab the one behind us and I would push that one out. And we would just leapfrog forward. And the only thing we could see when we were here, we had a flashlight and I was flashing the flashlight out there. I could see the top of that bus station sign right there. I could just see the bus. And I knew that was Mill Lane. But I could only see the bus. That was the only thing that was out of the water. So that's what we started pushing for. We started pushing for that bus sign. And then we got out there somewhere right around pretty much where that truck is. And it was open water. Now we got to go in the water. Now I'm already starting to have the signs of hypothermia. I'm freezing. I don't want to go in that water, but we're stuck. We have to go into the water. We have to swim the rest of the way out. And we ended up in that house right there. And that was it. I called my wife and told her I'm alive. I told her, hey, I'm alive, but we lost everything.
The couple has already scavenged what they could from the remains. Their daughter's first Christmas tree ornament somehow survived the superstorm.
And the gray over there a little bit to the right is the top of the chicken coop.
They found their 6 chickens in that coop. All of them survived, but 4 residents who did not evacuate were not so lucky. It's hard to comprehend, but this massive pile of debris is about 500 yards from where the houses once stood. It took us 15 minutes on foot to reach the foundation of the Correa's home.
This was the tool room in the front?
This section right here, from front to back, was from the floor up with tools. I had every tool you could think of. You know, like a lot of people have their own hobbies. My hobby was working on my house. Let's go home. I don't want to look at this no more. It's making me sick.
They are left in limbo. They don't know what insurance will cover. They had maxed out their flood insurance, and if that's all they get, it's far less than what they still owe on their mortgage. Jen and Pedro were able to find a rental, which was not easy.
We didn't have access to look up anything. You know, we were staying at other people's houses, some didn't have power. So what we did was we delegated everything I needed done. I needed stops on some of my credit cards. I needed to look for a place to live. You know, I needed to handle all that day to day. My sister found this apartment, texted me the address. We went to see it and said, you know what, it fits. If they'll take us, we'll take it.
Now, did you have to put down a lot of money, or were you able to just do a month-to-month kind of thing?
They wanted a 1-year lease, but I'm worried about how the insurance is going to play out, so I can't take a 1-year lease. So they ended up settling on a 3-month lease, but they pretty much wanted all 3 months up front.
They're lucky to have a place to live, but it's not exactly homey.
Is this your room? Look at your room. Come out and show us. Show everybody. Can I get kisses? What about hugs? Can I get hugs? I like hugs. Oh, you bumped the head. You bumped the head.
So many parts of the tri-state were affected, and we're trying our best to get to as many areas as possible. Beach communities in New Jersey, Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island were decimated. The images are rattling. How do you pick up the pieces when you lose everything? Well, that's a question on a lot of people's minds in Garrettson Beach.
We had a mini tsunami coming through here. That's really what happened. If you can imagine, a big wave, 12 feet of water, came in all at once, over into people's houses, trapping them inside if they had in their basement or on their first floor. And that stayed like that until the tide went down for an hour or two. All right, people were calling, they wanted us to rescue them. We couldn't get in here, it was over our heads. So we were telling them to go to the upper floors, and whatever that was. Some people only had 1 floor. Some of their houses were below street level, and they were in their attic. And they were waiting for the tide to go down. And then after the tide went down is when the rescue efforts began.
What was the rescue effort like? What was that day like for you guys?
It was horrendous. I've been in the department for 26 years, and I lived here all my life, and I've never seen anything like it. So we went and picked up as many people as we could and put them in the fire truck and the ambulance and headed north. And anybody that was in the way, we just pushed them into the ambulance. So we had, I don't know, about 25 to 30 people in the ambulance, and we brought them up to high ground.
Some were able to get out by themselves, like Laura Valente Fernandez, who had her 2 children with her as the water began to rise.
I saw people wading and swimming through the water on the avenue. I didn't know if we were going to make it out alive. It was frightening.
25% of the residents here will not be returning to their homes anytime soon. Because the floodwater mixed with the sewage, the fear of tetanus has become a harsh reality. Homeowners will have to completely gut their houses. Not even the subfloors can stay, as the growth of mold could lead to a toxic living environment. FEMA deemed Lois Robb's home uninhabitable. How are you going to find a temporary housing solution?
I don't know. I don't know.
She hopes to be back in her home in about 8 months. She was planning on retiring in a few years, but now that is simply not an option. This is just one of the many communities that needs our support. To find out what this community needs specifically, please visit garrettsonbeach.net. Coming up, we head to New Jersey, where 50% of this city was submerged in floodwater. Then we take a ride on the train of hope and lend a helping hand.
I'm just speechless right now.
I know.
Another area that saw devastation was Hoboken, where 50% of the city was under floodwater.
For the first time ever, the Hudson River breached the city both from the south and from the north, and literally it came in, and it's being described by residents as literally like a mini tsunami that just came in, and I would say 50% of Hoboken, their apartments were totally flooded out, local businesses totally flooded out. I mean, for the city of Hoboken, 3 of our 4 fire stations flooded, our senior center that also houses a really important daycare center, Boys and Girls Club that we own, that building that they're in, was totally flooded out. Our local hospital totally flooded, and so the devastation was tremendous for the city of Hoboken.
Should you want to make a donation to help rebuild Hoboken, Mayor Zimmer says you can do so online at rebuildhoboken.org. People from all over the country have been lending a helping hand by sending donations, thoughts, and prayers. And two women from New Orleans who know just what it's like to live in the aftermath of a hurricane thought big and created the Train of Hope. 5 tons of food and supplies recently arrived at Newark's Penn Station, where 70 volunteers loaded it onto trucks to take to the many areas in New Jersey that were slammed by Sandy. When Don O'Daniels and Kim Bergeron heard the news, their hearts dropped and they wanted to help.
You've been through it, you've got an instant connection that other people might not understand. Instead of just saying, oh, that's really sad, it's like, oh, we've got to do something to help these people. And so that was the conversation, and what can we do? And I remember the Amtrak train runs daily from New Orleans to New York, and it's got to stop in New Jersey. So it seemed like the easiest way to get things from point A to point B. So we created a Facebook page at midnight and said, here's what we need. If anybody's got Amtrak contacts, please get back to us. If you want to be a drop-off point for donations, get back to us.
And what did you get people to donate? How much goods and products did you get?
We had people from throughout the North Shore donate enough to fill an 85-foot Amtrak car. Amtrak sent the car down specifically to us when they realized how much in donations we had. 85-foot, we think it was about 6 tons of donations, and it was diapers and blankets and baby formula and baby food and cat and dog food and work boots and all kinds of supplies, critical needs supplies. We worked with Councilman Tim Ochapinti here, and he gave us a list of the critical needs, so we made sure that we had everything that was on that list, and they were fabulous on this end as far as making sure everything ran smoothly and orchestrating the receipt of all of the shipment and distribution to all the various locations that needed it. And they shared the shipment with Bayonne because they had the critical needs as well. So the folks on this end have been phenomenal. And Amtrak just coming on board and making sure that we had everything we need and making this event happen has just been kind of mind-boggling for a week, you know, from start to finish.
You can learn more about the Train of Hope's next mission by checking out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Train of Hope.
If we are able to do a second train in December, not only will we be able to bring up critically needed supplies, but maybe even some wrapped holiday gifts for the kids in the area too.
Supplies are still so critical for so many in the tri-state, and nonprofits are working around the clock making sure everyone has a place to sleep and a hot meal to eat. Table to Table is just one of the many hunger relief programs out there that could use your help.
We are a fresh food rescue. We pick up food from supermarkets, restaurants, caterers, the fresh good stuff, meat, poultry, fish, dairy products that's still good to eat, but for whatever reason can no longer be sold. And we deliver it in refrigerated trucks on a daily basis to agencies serving people who are hungry.
One of the agencies that receives Table to Table's deliveries is the Hoboken Shelter.
This week, we saw so many families that never thought they would ever step foot in a shelter come here and say, I need help. And it turns out it's really hard for a lot of people to ask for help, and it's really hard for a lot of people to know how to help. Here at the Hoboken Shelter, we provide a safe place for both that, for people to ask for help and for people to get help. So we're very thankful that our family of supporters has grown nationwide to be able to help every single person who comes and asks me for help. I am so thankful I can count on all of our friends and all of our supporters and all of our volunteers in order to meet that family member who has their 2-year-old child and their infant on their hip, come to our door and say, I'm hungry.
Coming up, kids finally get to trick or treat, plus find out what can happen when a group of friends comes together.
Oh my God, this is just weird.
Look behind you.
Now, we at the show wanted to help, and so did my group of friends. Jen Correa, who you met earlier in the show, is part of our boot camp group, a tightly knit group of gals who always have each other's back.
I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and I hope that when you come home, you will marry me and make me the happiest woman.
I first met Jen 10 years ago when I was the entertainment reporter on Channel 11. We were producing a series of live proposals on the news, and she wrote in. She wanted to ask her then boyfriend, Pedro, to marry her, but he was serving in Iraq, so we produced a video for her to send.
I'm going to toast your glass. When you come home, we can start forever. I love you.
He said yes, we all became friends, and 4 months later, they tied the knot, and now have 2 children. When the group heard the news, we knew we had to help. We knew they had an apartment, but it was hardly a home.
We moved in with 3 air mattresses, and bags of donated clothes. That's what we came in with.
Yep.
You know, the things that you see around here are just all donations. We had nothing left. You know, we had the clothes on our backs, literally. That was it.
But in just 2 hours, we changed all that.
Oh my God! Oh my God! This is just weird.
Look behind you! Look behind you!
Oh my God.
There's a wine rack, honey.
Yes, there's a couch. We're not sitting on the floor anymore.
Do you like it? Oh my goodness, this is insane.
Oh my God, there's furniture in all the bedrooms.
I know.
Oh my God.
Oh look, it's a bed! Oh my goodness, PJ. Oh.
And the TV, bud, look at that.
Where?
Right there.
Oh.
Let's go see your rooms, guys.
So
come on, PJ.
Weird.
Look at your bed.
Oh, listen, Jean, you got the coolest bed.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
My shoes are too dirty.
Oh, you don't want to put dirty shoes on the bed. Do you love
This
it?
is your room. Look at your room.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yay. That's your sign from home, right? Do you like your new bed?
Yeah.
Then don't break it.
Look at you. You got a desk,
I want
buddy.
to see brother's room.
Look at that.
Can I sit there, please?
We sit together. We'll each sit together.
Oh, bud, you got a desk.
You got a desk. You can do your
Do you
homework.
love it?
And now I can even use the computer, and I don't have to go. And now I even don't have to go into the living room, and they don't have to like go around all the toys.
That's true.
You know where you are.
You know where I am?
Do you know where you are?
I'm home.
We're home.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Oh
Thank you
my
so much.
goodness.
But you should see what you should.
Now, we didn't pull this off all by ourselves. We have a few more friends to thank for helping make this happen. The kind folks at PC Richard & Son donated a washer and dryer, a TV, and a laptop. And my local furniture store, I Love My Kids in Westchester, showed extreme generosity. When I called Matthew, he immediately donated the kids' furniture. No questions asked. And he's willing to help anybody else in need.
Anybody that's in trouble, we'll be glad to give you 20% off any of the furniture lines that we carry: adult beds, queen, king, dining room sets, living room furniture, sofas, couches, coffee tables, bedroom sets for kids, bunk beds, loft beds, regular beds, trundle beds, anything you need that we can get, I will be glad to give you 20% off.
You can find a store online at ilovemykids.com. And the rest of the furniture Matthew ordered, which he let my brother purchase at cost. Paul then had a few of his guys, Fidel, Jose, and Oscar, from his corporate cleaning company, United Services of America, help get it here.
They're lovely people, and when you explained to me that what happened to their house, my heart dropped. So to be able to give back to people that I knew and were so severely devastated, it was just a wonderful thing to do.
Great job, brother.
Well, thank you very much.
But we're not exactly done. When Jen told me that her brand new car was now a glorified paperweight, being that it had been fully submerged in the storm, I got to thinking, 2 kids, no car, no fun for a working mom. And that's when my incredible friends at Chevy Tri-State stepped up to the plate.
They're very nice people at Chevy.
No.
They lent me, it's not, we're not giving you a car, but they lent me a new 2013 Traverse, and until you guys get everything in order.
That's awesome.
I'm lending you mine.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
We're going to keep the floor clean.
My car's never been cleaner. I had to clean it out yesterday.
If I like it, I may need one. Oh my gosh. How cool is that, honey? I'm just speechless right now.
I know. I really appreciate everything you guys did. It's just really brought me back to reality and how much people can be nice and how much people care about us. Thank you all so much.
Now, we have a few tips to help friends or family affected by Sandy. It's very easy to set up an online fundraising site.
Hello! I made it!
How are you? Our friend Alicia set one up for Jen on youcaring.com. And another friend, Ashley, registered her at Target, where friends and strangers alike have fulfilled their basic kitchen and housekeeping needs. And Jen's best friend, Nicole, had pictures from her online photo album printed to make the place truly feel like home.
This mission is completely done.
Coming up, some tri-state kids finally get a chance to celebrate Halloween, and the good deed done by some kids in Kentucky. children were also affected by Hurricane Sandy. Many families lived without power, some had to seek refuge in shelters, while others lost their homes. And while everyone's working to get back on their feet, it was nice to see some little ones smiling, because you can't cancel Halloween in Hoboken.
What's going on with the cutest baby ever?
His name is Cortez, and he's the Hulk. As you see, he likes to smash and grab.
If you live in Jersey, then you probably already know that the Ragamuffin Parade is a beloved tradition by kids of all ages. And despite the superstorm that nearly swallowed Hoboken, the city decided to reschedule the parade so that the families of Hoboken could have some much-deserved fun.
Are you a Power Ranger?
Yes.
Which one are you?
The red one.
Are you a princess?
He's Joker and I'm back.
You're Batgirl. You look great.
I made them get pizza.
I get to go get pizza, I think you said.
The parade started on Washington at 13th Street. Along the route, kids tricked or treated at the local businesses. But that wasn't the only candy being passed out today.
There were children from Kentucky who they felt bad that Hoboken didn't celebrate Halloween, and they sent us 15 boxes of candy. So we'll be handing that out today, and we really, really appreciate that generosity.
Hoboken's out. We're all celebrating the fact that, you know, slowly we're starting to get back to life, normalcy. We know a lot of neighbors around us are dealing with worse, but in our way, we brought our little Hulk out for those kids who didn't get to celebrate.
Now we know there are so many more stories out there and so many areas that need help. Next week we're going to go to Breezy Point, the Rockaways, and Long Beach. If you missed any information in today's show, you can find it on our Facebook page. And please, while you're there, share your stories because we want to tell them.